Grand Rising, dears, gods, angels, ancestors. Aaron has recently started saying, "We're ancestors." I like that. I don't even know how he came to that conclusion, but he's doing his thing. All right, so um, let's start with my first thought. Just wanted Larasha to know that I don't think that you think anything about, like, I don't think you're competing or anything like that. Just want to clarify that the message last night in regards to competition is for those who really think they're in a competition. All right, so just to make sure that you don't think that I was coming for you, I wasn't. Whatever you said triggered a very important message. Okay, that shit is important. Oh my gosh. Second thought, because I already had bullet points last night, but so much happened last night that I couldn't even I couldn't even get to the real point. I mean, come on. They be distracting, don't they? All right, anyways. I wanted to mention, because I had mentioned yesterday with Catholicism changing Virgin Mary into a virgin and, um, you know, Mary Magdalene into a prostitute. One of the things that I wanted to mention is that Virgin Mary definitely couldn't have been a virgin, but she was a spiritual virgin. The story, I haven't really done enough research, but the story, if she was really a 14-year-old girl, if she was really a teenager, in most places, modern times, the age of consent is 16. Now that doesn't mean that there aren't countries and certain places that have a very low like age of consent, but in modern times, most people recognize that a teenager doesn't really have the capacity to make such a big decision, right? Meaning that her relationship was either arranged or whatever the case may be for those ancient times, um, and she wouldn't really have the emotional capacity to make a choice. And so in my I would consider her a spiritual virgin. She's still a virgin. You know what I'm saying? And so having a child at 14, 15, 16 years old would pose a lot of issues. One being covert emotional incest. Okay, so when Jesus um, becomes disgruntled with his mother, and he says that his mother violated his spirit, it was because she was not mature enough to have a child, and that is something that we see on the rise. Teen pregnancy is always a um, a concern, right? Um, because teen pregnancy is definitely a cause, because most teen moms end up being single moms, you know, and maybe they aren't single for their whole life, but there's definitely a stint in which they are single and they're trying to figure it out on their own, and they just don't have it doesn't mean they're not capable. They just don't have the maturity required all the time to take care of that child. And some, even if they acquire that maturity, they're still stunting a part of their emotional and mental growth in order to take care of the child. Okay, they become hyper focused on caring for their child. Their childhood is essentially stolen from them, and the things that they should be doing, it ends up harboring a level of resentment or dependence on their child. Okay, so I wanted to mention that too. I do not believe that Virgin Mary had an immaculate conception. The where the immaculate comes from is not really actually having her spirit tapped into. At least that's how I interpret it. Okay, because I could do some research and maybe find out that they say she's young, but she wasn't. But knowing the practices of ancient times, uh, some people seem to skip over the fact that she was a teenager and this was pedophilia. And actually, I think somebody made a joke that teenagers aren't actually pedophilia. It's like a different type of philia. Okay, but either way, it's a child. Okay, a child having a child. And I don't know why we skim over that. It's literally in the Bible, and again, would be a way to program people because literally in the Bible, it's giving permission to have children with teenagers. I don't know why that's not. I don't know why nobody notices that or considers anything wrong with that. Well, that was the times. No, I mean, yeah, it was, but what I'm showing you is the ancient ways that we've been programmed to be okay with things that harm women, children. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty problematic, right? All right, so moving right along. Oh, here we go. Hey, Grand Rising. All right, so last night, um, Aaron brought confirmation of the After All That video, right? Um, he watched Puss in Boots, and Puss in Boots was framed by his best friend because he left him. Puss in Boots had left him after he deceived Puss in Boots. This dude had the nerve to try to get revenge for Puss in Boots exacting boundaries. Okay, homeboy went and tried to steal some shit and got Puss in Boots wrapped up in it. Puss in Boots did not want to go down with him. Okay, so Puss in Boots left. Right, and this fool decided he was going to frame Puss in Boots. He was going to get revenge for Puss in Boots not wanting to go to jail. It's literally my life. Like, y'all are mad at me, and you want revenge on me because I don't want to be involved in wrongdoing. But does that make sense to you? You know, but that's what the movie showed, okay? And in the end, because this is Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty was his friend. In the end, Humpty did the right thing, which actually ultimately led to his end. He cracked. And the revelation was that Humpty was a golden egg all along. Okay? And Puss in Boots said, I always knew you were good inside. That's literally how I feel about people, too. I don't have to know anyone personally. I feel like everyone is inherently good if they are soulless. It is because their soul has escaped them after long-term dissociation, did not return, and they were left open to be a vessel to other entities. Even then, wherever their soul is, whether fragmented or whatever, it's still inherently good. That is my belief. And Aaron been begging to watch that movie. We watched a couple movies last week, Christmas related, but he saw that, he kept seeing it, and he's like, I want to watch that movie. And I was like, well, maybe later, because we watched a lot of movies this week. Okay, maybe later, you know. And yesterday he finally got me to watch it because we saw it when we were at the store in the morning. Okay, so I want to watch that movie. I want to watch that movie. All right, fine. So we watched it. And that's what it literally fell in line with what I said in my last posted video. All after all that, okay? So then, because of this, it also reminded me, like the way they choose their movies. It reminded me of something. I now have to give credit where it's due because I'm giving Aaron his credit. All right. Um, on this channel, I suggested to watch the movie Soul. I've said it a couple times, okay? And it was actually suggested by Jeremiah. Uh, they are very much. I told you they're so they follow me or I follow them. You know, they tell me to do something. I know it has significance. They're interested in something. I watch it, and it's not that I always knew that it had significance. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know at the time that Sonic Underground would bring me something. I didn't know at the time that Steven Universe would bring me something. I just, you know, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do as a parent, and it, taking up their interest, seeing what they're interested in, it always brings me some kind of like information, right? So Jeremiah told me to watch Soul, and he bothered me about it for weeks. I didn't even. No, it's good. I'm cool. Like, and I didn't even say I was cool. It's just like, I was very busy at the time. I was doing therapy. I was driving around. I was just starting the channel. I mean, the channel's always. I've had this channel actually for like 12 years, but I never did anything with it. Um, but I started recording and stuff, so I was actually really busy. And I finally sat down to watch that. I mean, that's a really good movie. Man, that was a really good movie. Mom, have you seen the movie yet? Mom, just a reminder to watch Soul. And I'm like, all right. So I watched it. And, I was able to pull some information from that because it was exactly what I was describing with emotional incest. It was my soul number is 22. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, that they definitely are in alignment with what I'm doing. They see it. They see it, or they're led because Aaron didn't know what Puss in Boots was about. He just saw two cats on there. He loves cats. That's his favorite animal. So Jeremiah also suggested the show called Infinity Train. It's on Cartoon Network. I would suggest people checking that out. Okay, it was very deep. And after I watched it, he was so excited. He's like, "Yeah, I choose things that are deep." Like he knows he's very introspective, you know. And so Aaron was emotionally moved by these suggestions, and his own. I like watching that. His little eyes tear up, and he seems to have an understanding of the conflicts in these movies and shows. But this is just a demonstration that I even collaborate with the kids. No one, no matter age, race, creed, or even past, is exempt to work towards peace. Okay? So I hope that you are all taking the cues from the world around you. And here's some demonstrations of that. If your child is telling you they want you to watch something, go watch it. See what messages they're getting, because they're getting them. You know what I'm saying? Natty wants me to watch something, but I don't have Disney Plus anymore, so I haven't been able to watch it. And then she watches stuff. Honey, Natty is very aware of the situation, whether I tell her or not. She's very aware. She wanted me to watch a video on YouTube that she liked, and it was of a mother who was homeless, was robbed, beat up, and someone helped her. And she wanted me to watch that. I'm like, what is this? What is this? Okay, so they're very aware. They're very tapped in. Make sure you're don't ignore what your children are trying to show you. You know what I'm saying? If they want you to watch something, watch it. It has a message. It has confirmation for you. It is always going to be for your soul's journey because their ancestors, as Aaron said. Y'all have a wonderful day.